Good morning. Let's go. We're on page 54, Pasuk Lamed Bet 32. It's actually a very good Pasuk. Pasuk goes as follows: Ki mishuvat petaim targem v'shavat ksilim ta'avdem, which means for the turning away of the simple will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. Now, until now, the Pesukim really spoke about, this concept of the active rebellion, rejecting wisdom, refusing the truth, right? Ignoring HaKadosh Baruch Hu's voice like we had yesterday, the other day. But here, Shlomo Melech really is speaking about something even more dangerous, which is the concept of a passive distance. Now, it's not really, wickedness, it's not a defiance, it's just being different. Meshuvat petaim targem, the turning away, which is the drifting of the simple, destroys them. Then he continues the pasuk, v'shavat ksilim ta'abdem, the comfort of fools ruins them. Now he's describing people who don't fight against HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they just stop caring. Now, the word meshubat comes from the word shuv, which means to turn and to drift back. Now, in petaim, the simple ones, right, the simple means that those who are naive and they're spiritually sleeping. Now, it doesn't mean lo alenu bad people, it means people who just never try to think deeply. Now, in this world today, we have that all over. People are just not down, right? Everyone says, I'm not down. When I got the job here, my fellow told me you have to take out of your dictionary the word not down. You always have to be down no matter what. You always have to jump in and do whatever is told, you always have to be down. Because the world is very, we're in a very lazy world, so people are just not interested in doing things. So it's not that you're trying to go away, you just don't want to think about improving yourself, right? They just want to go with the flow. You want to go with the flow, following the habits and the norms of people around them. And that's really the danger, is because you don't have to choose evil to end up being far from God. You just have to stop choosing good. You hear the difference? You're not choosing evil, you're just not choosing good. Now, life and life, the current of life will slowly drift you away, because what happens if you're not doing good, you're doing bad. That's why Judaism is always a ladder. You always have to go up. If you're not going up, you're going down. And most people, don't really wake up and say, I'm leaving God. It's much quieter than that. They start off one day skipping the tefillah, then they stop learning as much, and then they stop asking deep questions and understanding, and they stop noticing HaKadosh Baruch Hu around them, and then they stop feeling grateful, and then nothing happened per se, but slowly that fire that you had inside of you started dimming. And the heart that was once beating with the passion for HaKadosh Baruch Hu becomes tired. Right? That's Mishubat Petaim. That gentle, the silent turning away that kills the neshama without noise, without anything. It's even without noticing, because you're slowly drifting away. And the second half of the pasuk is just as powerful as the first part. V'shavat ksilim ta'abdem, the complacency of fools will destroy them. Shava means comfort, right? It means calm. It means feeling secure. It sounds positive, but who doesn't want peace, right? But Shlomo Melech is talking about a spiritual shalva, which means the comfort that makes a person to stop growing. The ksil, the fool, what happens? He says, I'm fine. I'm good where I am. I don't need to change. He mistakes comfort for success, right? He mistakes his stillness for peace. But spiritual peace really doesn't mean stopping. It means aligning with what the world is doing. Now, when your comfort leads to that, that's when you stop growing. Right? It's hard to grow, obviously, but that's by definition the idea of growth. It's hard to make moves, but when you make moves, you feel good. Why? Because it was hard for you to make moves in the first place. Right? If it wasn't hard, if success wasn't hard, then what's the definition of success? Just live your life regular. Just get out of bed, do whatever you want, and that's it. But what's success? Making moves. And the hardship of that, right? Lefum tzara agra. We have this in Pirkei Avot. The harder it is, the greater the reward. It's not just in Judaism; it's in everything in life. When it's harder when you go to business now, and it's hard for you to make this deal and sell crackers to Uris, right? then it feels much better once you got the deal. But if you walked into Uri's and boom, you get a deal like that, it doesn't feel good because, you didn't work hard for it, right? With everything, with doing SMS messages for cash advance, Right there, let's continue. It's fascinating because Shlomo Melech says that this is really what kills the person, the neshama. It's not the avera, it's not the sin. It's not the anger, but it's the concept of comfort. Because comfort ends up dulling the awareness. And it puts your soul to stop right away. It puts your neshama to stop. And a sleeping neshama doesn't want to pray, doesn't want to grow, doesn't notice HaKadosh Baruch Hu when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is calling him throughout. And the person is physically alive, right? He's living, but he's spiritually, he's gone numb. And Rav Dessler actually used to call this the illusion of neutrality, right? You're thinking you're standing still, but in truth, you're sliding really backwards. And in our world, right, this pasuk feels very, very relevant. Why? Because we're surrounded by the concept of comfort. Everything is instant. Literally, right before I started this class, my wife is like, I need milk, I need yogurt. I went on, now it's Amazon Fresh. Boom, it's already at my house. That's comfort. You know what I mean? Like literally instant. We have food, we have entertainment, we have, the distraction, constant noise around us that fill every single quiet moment. You're bored, you go on TikTok. Right, you have more than a minute to share on, you go on Netflix, but that's really the noise that keeps us from asking, the most important questions. Why am I here? Who am I becoming? What do I want for my life? In the pasuk that says Vishavim Ksalim Ta'abdim, that spiritual distraction today doesn't come from, from the Yetzirah per se. It comes from all these things, from the TikTok, from the strolling, from the endless scrolling, and from a life that's full of everything except of meaning. We spoke about this yesterday also, right? We think we're full, but we're not fulfilled, right? And the opposite of mishubat, like was in the pasuk, is and shava is a torerut, which means awakening. Now you don't need to become perfect overnight, right? You don't need you just need to wake up and make the first step to remind your heart that that life has a purpose. That the Torah is real, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is waiting for you to notice him. Right? And a small moment of this breaks through everything else around you. And we said this about Yosef HaTzadik, right? He was in Egypt, which was the most spiritually numb place in the world, on planet Earth, right? He could have easily blended in, he could have easily enjoyed the luxuries, what his kingship had to offer. But Yosef stayed spiritually awake. Why? The pasuk says, when the temptation came, what did he say? When comfort came to him, he said, how could I do this great evil and sin against God? And that one sentence that he did changed his whole future. He remembered that Kadosh Baruch Hu in the very place designed for him to forget. That's really the greatness in our life today. We're around people who influence us in the wrong way. But making that first step, making that first move, shows what really means to you. So every person has to ask himself, where am I drifting in my life? Where have I grown comfortable or spiritually numb or lazy? Maybe it's in your tefillah, maybe it's in your learning, maybe it's in your in your midot, in your marriage, in your parenting. It's not about the guilt. We're not about guilt. It's about awakening yourself. Kadosh Baruch Hu is not angry. He's asking you, don't fall asleep. There's more for you to discover within yourself. And every small step towards that breaks the drift of that Yetzirah around you. Right? Every effort to grow rekindles that light that your neshama has. So the end of the pasuk, Mishubat Petayim Targem V'Shavak Salim Ta'abdem, the slow drift of the simple destroys them, like I said, and the comfort of fools ruin them. Shlomo is warning us that the greatest danger isn't rebellion, it's to sleep. The tragedy isn't sin, it's staying still. So what do we need to do? We got to keep our neshama awake. We got to keep asking, keep learning, keep caring. Why? Because the moment you stop drifting and open your eyes again, right? You'll see that Kadosh Baruch Hu never really left you. He's right there and he's waiting for you to wake up again. Bezrat Hashem will continue tomorrow with the next episode. Have a great day.